Ladies and gentlemen, football fans from around the globe, welcome back to the epicenter of the beautiful game. If you blinked this weekend, you might have missed a seismic shift in the tectonic plates of Spanish football. We are talking about a complete changing of the guard, a weekend that has turned La Liga upside down and sent shockwaves from Pamplona all the way to the Mediterranean coast. The headline is simple, but the story is complex. Barcelona are the new kings of Spain. Let's set the stage because context is everything in this sport. Coming into this weekend, the narrative was firmly in the hands of Real Madrid. The merengues were sitting pretty at the top, looking imperious, looking untouchable. But football, as we know, is a cruel and unpredictable beast. On Saturday, the impossible happened. Real Madrid traveled to Osasuna and walked into a trap. They stumbled, they fell, and ultimately, they collapsed in a shocking 2-1 defeat. That result left the door not just unlocked, but kicked wide open for Xavi and his Barcelona squad. The equation on Sunday was crystal clear. Beat Levante at the Camp Nou, and the throne is yours. And oh my goodness, did they answer the call. This wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. It was a demolition. It was a reminder to the world that the Catalan giants are not just rebuilding, they are recharged and ready to conquer. We take you to the Camp Nou. The atmosphere was electric, a cauldron of anticipation. The fans knew the math. They knew a win meant first place. And the team on the pitch wasted absolutely zero time in calming any nerves. We are talking about a blistering start. 3 minutes, that is all it took. 180 seconds into the contest, the deadlock was broken. And who else but the youth revolution leading the charge? Marc Bernal, a name you need to remember, found himself in the right place at the right time. It started with Eric Garcia, showing vision well beyond a typical defender, whipping in a dangerous cross. Bernal, showing the predatory instincts of a veteran, latched onto it and buried it. 1-0. The stadium erupted. The pressure valve was released instantly. But Barcelona didn't sit back. That is the difference with this current iteration of the squad. In years past, we might have seen them slow the tempo, pass sideways, and invite pressure. Not today. They smelled blood. They pinned Levante back into their own 18-yard box, suffocating them with a high press that was relentless. Fast forward to the 31st minute. This was the moment of pure footballing art. You have João Cancelo, a player who has redefined the fullback position, operating almost as a number 10. He picks up the ball, looks up, and delivers a laser-guided launch into the small area. It was surgical. And there was Frankie de Jong. The Dutchman, who has been the metronome of this midfield, surged forward, ghosting past the defense to apply the finish. 2-0. At that moment, the game was effectively over as a contest, but it was just beginning as an exhibition. Let's take a breath and look at the numbers because they paint a picture of total, absolute dominance. We are talking about 70% possession. 70%! Levante spent the entire evening chasing shadows. Barcelona registered 22 shots on goal. 22 times they threatened the net. Compare that to Levante's meager 5 attempts. It was men against boys. It was a masterclass in spatial control, ball retention, and vertical aggression. The midfield trio controlled the tempo so effortlessly that Ter Stegen could have pulled up a chair and read a newspaper for most of the first half. Going into the break, the vibe in the stadium wasn't just about winning the match, it was about the league table. The fans were checking their phones, looking at the standings, realizing that the +1 in the points column was becoming a reality. The second half began, and while the intensity naturally dipped slightly, as it tends to do when you are completely outclassing your opponent, the control never wavered. Xavi Hernandez, the architect on the sideline, kept demanding perfection. He knows that in the title race this tight, goal difference could eventually matter, but more importantly, momentum is a psychological weapon. The cherry on top of this Catalan cake came late in the game, in the 80th minute, the 35th of the second half. And again, it highlighted the embarrassment of riches Barcelona has coming through their ranks. Lamine Yamal, the boy wonder, the sensation who seems to break a record every time he ties his laces, stood over a corner kick. His delivery was wicked, curling, and precise. The ball found its way to Fermin Lopez. With the confidence of a seasoned striker, Fermin uncorked a beautiful left-footed strike that left the keeper with absolutely no chance. 3-0. Game, set, and match. But let's zoom out and analyze what this 3-0 drubbing actually means. This isn't just 3 points against a struggling team.
This is a complete paradigm shift in the La Liga title race. With this victory, Barcelona vaults to 61 points. They have leapfrogged Real Madrid, who are now stuck in the rearview mirror at 60 points. One single point separates the two greatest rivals in club football. The psychological damage to Madrid cannot be overstated. To lose to Osasuna is bad. To watch your arch-rivals dismantle Levante and steal your crown 24 hours later is devastating. The pressure has now completely flipped. For weeks, Barcelona was the hunter. Now they are the hunted. And judging by the performance we saw at the Camp Nou today, they are very comfortable wearing the crown. And we must spare a moment for Levante. This result is cataclysmic for them. While Barcelona dreams of glory, Levante is living a nightmare. They remain firmly planted in the relegation zone, sitting 19th, deep in the red, with only 18 points. They look like a team bereft of ideas and devoid of confidence. Coming to the Camp Nou is never easy, but they barely laid a glove on the hosts. If they don't find a spark soon, they are looking at relegation to the Segunda Division, a fate that is becoming more likely with every passing week. However, the story of the day, the story of the weekend, and perhaps the story of the season so far, belongs to the Blaugrana. Xavi has his team playing with a smile on their faces and a dagger in their teeth. The integration of young talents like Marc Bernal, Fermin, and Lamine Yamal, combined with the world-class experience of Cancelo and De Jong, has created a hybrid monster that looks capable of beating anyone in Europe. They didn't just win, they didn't even have to break a sweat. It was efficient, it was elegant, and it was emphatic. The La Liga table has a new leader. The king is dead, long live the king. Barcelona sits at the summit, looking down on the rest of Spain. The question now is, can they stay there? If they play like this, with this pace, this hunger, and this quality, it is going to take a Herculean effort to knock them off their perch. Real Madrid has been warned. The rest of the league has been put on notice. The title race is officially on fire, and Barcelona is holding the match. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ball, because this season is far from over.